So guys, before I start, please do press the subscribe button. So guys, I wanted to touch upon this article because I saw an interview on This Morning. This Morning is a show on British TV. Obviously, it's in the morning. And Omid Scobie, who wrote the book Finding Freedom, who said that he did not interview Harry and Meghan and that they did not cooperate with the book, did not give him information for the book. And then it transpired in a court case that actually Meghan did give him information via her communication secretary, Jason Canoff, for the book Finding Freedom. And also allegedly Meghan had also told some untruths about that, but obviously had to backpedal in her witness statement to the court about what she had said about her cooperation and involvement in the book. Anyway, moving on. So he often pops up here and there talking. It seems as though he is talking on behalf of Harry and Meghan. It seems as though he has the scoop. It seems as though he has their ear. It seems as though he has information from them. And it seems as though from his reporting and from what I read, from my point of view, is that he's Harry and Meghan leaning, as it were, in favour of them. And he, in my view, reports negatively about other members of the royal family whenever he has the opportunity to do so. So I think it's really weird that only 3 days before the coronation, he appears on this show and he talks about Harry and Meghan. So first of all, if you haven't got the ear of Harry and Meghan, then where are you getting this information from? And secondly, I am not a fan of this man at all. I don't know where he came from. He came out of nowhere. When Meghan was on the scene, all of a sudden there was this Omid Scobie as some sort of biographer, as some sort of royal reporter. And I was like, who are you? I've followed the royals since Princess Diana. And I had never come across this man. And then Meghan comes on the scene and all of a sudden he pops out and then all of a sudden he's writing a book with this other woman. And now all of a sudden he's always on Twitter about the royal family. He's on these shows, on these talk shows. He's on various sort of news reports when, for example, it was the Queen's funeral and reporting about Harry and Meghan, and it was all this nonsense about his uniform, this and that, and it'd be stuff that he was talking about, in my view, didn't actually end up happening. So anyway, so here's this guy. So I don't rate him at all because one, I read some tweet of his which was quite scathing about Prince William when it was reported that Prince William had said something and he sort of jumped on it and then just cussed him out. And then later on it transpired because there was actually a video of what Prince William had said. Thank God someone had videoed it. And it was actually reported wrong. And so this guy then was just silent. He didn't come out with an apology, a correction. So at that point, I was just disgusted. And then not only that, but then you've got his book Finding Freedom, which part of it at least was allegedly he was allegedly given information from Harry and Meghan in particular. But then you have Harry come out with his book Spare, and then he slates the book, and he's like, in this, best-selling book or whatever, I'm paraphrasing, it's reported that Meghan had some training in, I think it's like kidnap training or abduction training or whatever, or terrorist training, whatever it is. And he was saying, and the book was very detailed as well about the training she had. And then Harry was like, that's absolutely not true. That book was inaccurate. That never happened. She never had any of this training and she would have loved her to have this training and blah, 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 blah. And so that then makes me think, what? And then I've read Spear and Finding Freedom and there are some inconsistencies in certain stories. So it's really, really weird. I'm like, hang on a second, mate. Either you get information directly from them or from a source that is very close to them, and the information is either correct or it's not correct. So I'm just confused. Okay, so I don't rate this man at all. But anyway, he's here on this show now talking some stuff about Harry and Meghan, and what he says is that that Harry and Meghan weren't sure if they were going to be invited to the coronation after the release of the book Spare, and that they had waited for some time to get confirmation as to whether or not they were 100% welcome at the coronation. Now, okay, first of all, there's no communication between him and his family, so what do you expect? and waited for some time. Excuse me. They were invited when everyone else was invited. And apparently they had an email that they received before the official invitations, which was an email from the King's office. And then their spokesperson came out and told everyone about this email. And then their spokesperson said, and whether or not the Duchess and the Duke are going to attend this coronation is not going to be addressed at this time or whatever, I'm paraphrasing. They didn't need to come out with that bloody statement. But that statement was, I don't know, more than a month ago. And the deadline for the RSVP passed before Harry confirmed whether or not he's coming. And how does this excuse the fact that Meghan's still not coming? Oh, they didn't know. They waited for so long. They didn't know if they were going to come. How does this excuse the fact that she ain't even coming anyway? And how does it excuse the fact that he was late in replying anyway? And in my view, what probably happened is that there was just so much kerfuffle and chaos as to whether this man was coming or not, that somebody picked up the phone, whether it was Charles or whether it was someone from the palace, that picked up the phone and was like, come on, mate, what's going on? And it's like 3 weeks past the RSVP. Anyway, so Omid says, there was never any question on whether he would want to come or not. It was a question at one point of whether he would be invited, I think. Really? Where did you get that from? From what I understand, the Sussexes had to wait for some time to really get confirmation whether they were 100% welcome at this event. Of course, this all follows the release of Book Spare. But for Harry, there was certainly no question about attending. Ultimately, he is fifth in line to the throne. He's a Councillor of State. Oh, okay, so it's just about his constitutional role, right? It's just about him then, yeah? It's about his duty, right? It's just about his role. It ain't about his family. It ain't about his dad. It ain't about supporting his family. It ain't about supporting his grandmother's legacy and the continuation of the monarchy. It ain't about what's morally right and ethically right. And what does he mean? Like, they weren't sure if they were going to be welcome or not. I mean, she ain't even coming anyway. And why did it take him so long to reply if there was no question? God. There's obviously been reporting that they had demands before they were going to attend the coronation. So I wonder whether that was why it was so delayed, or whether he was waiting for his case about his security. He's taken the government to court over a decision that he wasn't entitled to pay for royal security for his family. And that case hasn't yet been heard. And so was he waiting for that? Was he waiting for some deal? Was he waiting for some demand? Is the fact that all the demands weren't met as to why she ain't coming? Because I understand it's Archie's birthday, but excuse me, he's 4 years old. Does he know whether his birthday is Saturday or Sunday? And also, why are you not coming to the UK? Like, at least then your husband can go there for 2, 3, 4 hours and then go and see his son and have a birthday party. Like, what's the deal? Why are you not even come to the UK? Like, this is some sort of shark infested area that you're so, holier than thou. You can't even step your foot in this country because it's so dangerous and we're all after you. It's just ridiculous. Anyway, so much can happen over time, and I don't think he would want to look back and regret not being there for that moment. I mean, you would think, but I'd like to know who told you this, because that's interesting. Speaking about Harry's role in the coronation, Scobie acknowledged that he wouldn't have an official role except to be there. And how do you know that? Where did you get that information from? Because I doubt that anyone from the royal family or from the palace are releasing information to you. He said, unfortunately, there is nothing carved out in the ceremony for him. Unfortunately, are you serious? And I would imagine if Harry and Meghan were working royal still and everything had worked out differently, there may have been some way for them to have been orchestrated into it, or at least be visible on that big balcony. I think so too, bro. But obviously that's not the case, and people are wondering where Harry will be. Will he be with the civvies, or will he be with his family members? And if he is, what row will he be in? Okay, yeah, I mean, that's true. People are wondering. I think people will be watching to see that almost as a reflection of where he stands with his family today, but he gets no say in it. Why would he get a say in it? It's a state event. He's not a working member of the royal family. Why would he get a say into where he gets to go and where he gets to be? He's invited, and that's it. And it's not a reflection of where he stands with his family today. It's a reflection of where he stands as a working member of the royal family. He's still the son of the king. There's a difference between his role and where he is with his family. So it's not a reflection as to where he is with his family today, because I can guarantee that if he had his arms open and hugged his brother or hugged his dad and apologized, I think all would be well. but he isn't going to do that. And then he says, speaking about his contact with his father, Scobie claimed that the pair have spoken a few times over the phone. So where did he get that information from? Did he get it from Harry and Meghan? Did he get it from a source close to Harry and Meghan? Is his reporting accurate? I don't know. If his reporting is accurate, and if he is coming out on behalf of Harry and Meghan, then why are you coming out 3 days before the coronation, bro? Especially last week when we had, or the week before, where we had an announcement that she had hired some powerful PR agency in America. We saw them in the bloody basketball flipping match. And then we saw her come out with her new hairdo, introducing a friend on a video link, for God's sakes, because she couldn't even be bothered to turn up. But, you know, what, we don't need all of this in the lead up to the coronation. You know, everything was perfectly quiet, wasn't it, for a little while? And then you get to the lead up of the coronation, and it's like boom, 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 boom. And he said, obviously, this is the first time he sees his family face to face since the release of Spare. But I don't think people know there has been a somewhat regular passive conversation between him and his father since the release of that book. That's interesting, because was it reported somewhere that there had been no communication? So that's interesting. Okay, well, good. If there was still a regular communication, then why did this guy take so long to confirm whether he was going to the coronation? And why is Meghan still not coming? Anyway, now they have discussed the details and the points that he wanted to go into. From what I hear, no, but he has had contact with his dad. Okay. And he went on to say some of the conversations had been negative, including loss of Frogmore Cottage, adding they lose the keys to that any week now, and he would have spoken to his father about that. See, how do you know this type of information? Come on now. Is it me, or is it obvious that he gets the information from Harry and Meghan, or at least one of their friends? But one of their friends, because Harry and Meghan are so litigious and Meghan just ghosts people like nothing, then their friends would have been so cautious about having their permission to disclose this information. So it's either come, in my view, directly from Harry and Meghan, or it's come from a friend of Harry and Meghan's that has their permission to do so. So it then just begs the question why there was allegedly inaccurate information in his book Finding Freedom, which allegedly they had cooperated. I'm confused. Anyway, I'm going around in circles because I'm just so confused. Scobie also claimed that Harry spoke about the coronation over the phone with the king and made it clear that he wanted to be part of it. Oh, really? However, in contrast to his relationship with King Charles, he said Harry's bond with Prince William is frayed, adding there has been minimal contact since the Queen's funeral. You think? Elsewhere, he revealed that Meghan had decided not to attend the coronation to protect her peace. Oh, that's so nice. To protect her peace. So she shat on everyone else's peace, shat on everyone else's hard work, reputation, and career, and mental health, probably. And then now you want to just protect your own peace. Good for you. Good for you. I mean, I've never heard of anything more selfish, frankly. You go around creating so much chaos, and then it's, I'm just here to protect my peace. Good for you. Protect yourself. It's all about yourself, isn't it? He said she is aware, and I should say, your husband's being hung out to dry, though, isn't it? I mean, what about his peace? He's having to come over to the coronation on his own, isn't he? And then his children are not even nearby, and his wife isn't even nearby, so that he can go to your arms at night or whatever. Yeah, anyway. He said she is aware just how much of the spotlight goes on her when she sets even a foot near the story. Look, okay, they're probably surrounded by yes people. And Omid Scobie, I wouldn't be surprised if he was a yes man. It's just yes, 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 yes. It's just so fabulous. Award winning, you know, best-selling author, blah, 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 blah. All this yes, 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 grace, great grace. But what you're not understanding, you know, you think that the spotlight is on you and you take the spotlight off everyone, and frankly, you're doing Charles a favor. Well, actually, the spotlight is always on you, but in a negative way. You know, you guys are so polarizing. There's so much negative press about you guys, and you know, it's just such a shame. But there we are. You think you've got the spotlight, so there you are, you go. I mean, there's a difference between a positive spotlight and a negative spotlight, but there we are. It's portrayed as intentional. Should she come over and just stand next to her husband, the commentary and the narrative of the day would have been very different. Yeah. And are you going to stand there with your hand on your heart and say that nothing is ever planted or leaked by them at any public event where there is negative press about them, that they are not releasing some information? And that's causing some of the press that is on them to be on them. That some of it is not their fault. That, I don't know. I would not believe that. I would not believe that. They're so innocent. They come over and, oh my God, look, all the newspapers are on us. No. The author insisted that some of the royal family may be relieved that Meghan won't be at the coronation because they would rather the attention didn't go on to her. He said, if you look back at some of Harry and Meghan's biggest problems, it was all down to the fact that the attention was always on them at times when it shouldn't have been. Now, look, this is such nonsense because Harry also goes, he sort of believes that as well, because he was like, oh, you know, Harry and Meghan, like Meghan was such a star in the Australian tour, and it reminded everyone of the past, and, you know, insinuating that it reminded everyone of Princess Diana and how she was just a star. Well, the Queen and the Duke of Edinburgh were also a star in Australia, okay? Like Kate and William were also a star in Australia, okay? Like, people love the royal family. You know, you're not special, you're not significant, you know, and he thinks that she's done such an amazing job. She's such a star that she was stealing all the limelight away from other members of the royal family, that the other members of the family were just so jealous. And this created this like negative storm of leaks and some sort of plot against Meghan. Bruv, come on now. You know, there are intelligent people out there, and at least I classify myself as intelligent. I'm able to see for myself and to read things for myself and to hear things from her own mouth myself and put things together and understand that she ain't all she seems to be. And she has not deserved and worked for the respect and adoration that she wants. You know, she sees herself as some sort of global icon. That's what this new PR company is trying to portray her as, the Meghan Markle, the global icon. Really? The global icon for what? And it's just so ridiculous that you think that people don't want her around because they don't want the attention to go on her because they're jealous, or they want the attention to go on them. And that's what creates the problems when Harry and Meghan come and take all the big press. No, the problem is that they come and they create this controversy. They create this chaos, all this negativity, all this polarization. And that's what people don't want to be on an event. So if you have an event that is, say, for example, a charitable tour or some sort of charity or some sort of coronation or whatever it is, they don't want, you know, all this press being on how Meghan was treated and racism and mental health. And then it's taken away from the people that are most impacted from the charity or the work that is being undertaken, that they're trying to bring attention to. It gets totally wiped away. Like, for example, when Harry and Meghan did their South African tour and they were bringing awareness to issues in South Africa, obviously that is a huge thing that the world should know about. Does anyone remember the South African tour? I don't think so. Because what people remember and what was all over the press was at the end of the tour, as it was filmed and broadcast on TV, Harry and Meghan did a bloody interview talking about their rifts within the family, talking about his rift with his brother. It was the first time that I was aware that it was confirmed that there was a rift between him and his brother, because before that it was just rumours and William didn't say anything. At least I didn't see anything. And it was the first time that Harry had confirmed that there was a rift, and people were like, huh? And then he talks about, I'm not going to participate in this game that killed my mother. Every time I hear a click of a camera, click, 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 it brings me back. Yeah. Well, I don't see that trauma now, do I? When you're in Hollywood Boulevard or like LA night outs and it's click, 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 click by the paparazzi. And then Meghan was like, oh, nobody has asked me if I'm okay. I tried to do the English, it's stiff upper lip. I did try. And that was all what was reported in the press. That was the attention on Harry and Meghan that we're talking about. And it was negative attention, because then it was all about personal business. It was all about the family. It was all about treatment of family members and treatment of Meghan, rather than the bloody South African tour and the issues that they were supposed to bring awareness to, and the diplomatic work they were supposed to do on behalf of the Commonwealth and on behalf of the royal family, on behalf of the Queen. They're representing the Queen. That's the job. And that's what we talk about, or at least what I believe members of the royal family are probably referring to when they say that they don't want all the attention on Harry and Meghan to be taken away from causes, and they would rather the attention not go onto Meghan. It's just, that's what I believe they're talking about, is all the negativity that they bring about. And that South African tour is an example. And the other example is when William and Catherine went to Boston in 2022 for the Earthshot Prize, which is hugely important to William, which is a hugely important organization that do very important work and highlight awareness and give money, serious amounts of money, to small businesses and big businesses, unknown businesses that are there trying to work hard to improve and sustain our planet. And then what happened? Harry and Meghan release, or I shouldn't say Harry and Meghan because they might not have had control over it, but Harry and Meghan's trailer for the Netflix documentary gets released. What did somebody said something, I don't know if it was Omid Scobie, but it may have been, but somebody said something like, oh, this is, you know, the trailer is, this is our bombshell or whatever, our, you know, revenge dress, that kind of thing. And it was like, excuse me, you know, and it really, then all the press was about that and about that stupid flipping Netflix trailer. I mean, what the hell? You know, talking about, so why did you want to talk about this? Oh, well, don't you think it'll be important to hear our story from us when the stakes are so high? You know, blah, 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 blah. When bloody, you've got the heir to the throne out there and the Princess of Wales out there, like throwing the massive gala event on bloody how to save this planet. I mean, it's just, and that's the point, isn't it? That they would rather the attention didn't go on her, but not for just because it's her. You know, if she had a brilliant cause and was doing brilliant work, then yeah, sure, have the attention. But it's because the attention is on stupidness, you know, on what they say about the royal family, on private matters, on airing dirty laundry, or on fashion, what she wore, what her hat, la la la. It's all a nonsense. So anyway, I don't rate this guy, but it is what it is. I don't know who his sources are, but it is what it is. It sounds like he's got the ear of Harry and Meghan, or at least someone in their camp. So, you know, if this is what he's saying they are feeling, then fine, they're entitled to feel that, but I am not falling for it. Okay, none of this, oh, they waited for so long to get confirmation about the coronation. Yeah, okay. And she just doesn't want to come because she wants to protect her peace. Yeah. What about everyone else's peace? And oh, she didn't want to come because they would rather the attention not go on her. She doesn't want to take the attention. Yeah, don't be so full of yourself, okay? Don't be full of yourself. Okay, guys, well, I hope you enjoyed that video. So please do subscribe to my channel and I will see you later. Take care, guys.